This program contains adult language and situations which may be considered offensive to some viewers and/or children, but more likely their parents.
Hey people, it's DLF here. I got a comment on my one of my YouTube videos. Where is it? I'll pull it up. Like I get to pull up my pants. Somebody asked me a question, and I thought it was actually a pretty good question, and it's actually something that I want to kind of make a video to deal with answering this. So let me pull up the video. Let me pull up the comment here. Where is it? It was actually a really good question that, like, I really want to answer it in a comment, because let me pull it up. Let me hold up. Howdy do. Oh, we're watching an advertisement for the movie Rings. Hold on. That's another thing that really gets my goat. This movie Rings. Hold on. Now I gotta find it. Oh, here's the here's a guy right here. His name is Benjamin Rees, and he writes, "Hey DLF, I love your videos. You are awesome. I'm curious about what made you decide to start making videos. I hope all is well. I'm a big fan, Ben." Well, Ben, what made me decide to make videos? Oh, man. So here's what made me decide to start making videos. I've always wanted to make videos pretty much all my life, you know. It's you know, back in the day, you watch my home videos video. I've always had a fascination with video. Like, it's just like, okay, you get to see yourself on TV or whatever, and so, you know, when I was growing up, you know, it was actually my mother that had a video camera, and my mother would sit there and videotape like Christmases and shit, birthday parties, like you've seen. We you know, like you seen on my one video. That's what we would do. We would have like home movies and shit. Okay, so I've always asked my mom if I could have a video camera like later in my life or whatever, and she said she lost it or something. I don't know, but I thought it would be cool just to get the video camera and just start filming shit, you know. I thought that would have been really cool back when I was growing up to do something like that. So anyway, growing up, I used to grow up, and I would every Saturday night, I'd come home from school, and I would have. I'd come home from school, and Friday night I'd come home from school, I'd do my homework. Saturday morning, me and my dad would go out, and we would get fucking movies, and I would rent a game, and every Saturday night, there would be times when I'd stay up kind of late. This would be like 10, 11 years old or so. I'd stay up kind of late on a Saturday night, and I would just, sometimes I would just play video games, and sometimes I would sit there and watch TV, too. And, like Saturday nights, okay, I'd sit there and watch TV, and I'm like flipping through the channels and shit, and what do I see on TV? You go to channel 18, the public access show, and what do I see on there? It's fucking Mr. Ski Mask showing off fucking bulging cans and shit in his basement. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? And it's like, I just watch this, I'm like, what the hell am I watching here? This is the most bizarre thing that I've ever seen in my life. And I found out this show was a public access show. And this is my first introduction to Mr. Ski Mask here. And this show, it was called Thunderbird Theater on public access in Buffalo. And I'm watching this, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? But I liked it. Like, I liked the, everything about the show. It was cool. And the thing is that I found out that this was actually a local thing. And I'm like, I should start watching these public access shows more often. And I'm watching through them and shit, and a lot of them were like about, there were like a lot of like people taping church, okay, and it was like, I didn't really care about that, but every Saturday night at like, what was it, 10:30 or so, that's when the good shit comes on. And there was another weird show, before his show, it was called Axle Grease, I think it was called. And that was another weird show, but it wasn't as weird. But I found out that this is local, and I'm now having visions of shit like, how the fuck do I get my own show? And I'm just thinking, I'm like, then the internet comes along, okay, and now I'm over there, and I'm like looking up this shit, like fucking Ski Mask and shit, and I find him, and I was actually talking to him for a while. He didn't even know it was me, I've been talking to Mr. Ski Mask since probably like 14 years old, on AOL. And it was awesome because this was a big deal, and it's like people at school. I told people at school about this show, and no one wanted to believe me about this. They're like, "What the fuck? What the fuck are you talking about?" So I said, "Listen, you need to watch this show. Channel 18. It was at 10:30 or something like that. You need to watch a show. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about." So I actually got a couple people from my school to watch this show. So, and it just happened to be, it just happened to be from me just flipping through channels one night because I was bored. Probably because I picked out a game that was kind of shitty. and it's just like, I don't feel like playing this. But it, so that's what happened, and it was something I looked forward to. So I fast forward, I'm like, how the fuck do you make a video? How do you make a show, I mean? This was before YouTube. This is pre-internet shit. This is like when the internet just started coming out, and like no one had it, and you would have to go online with those AOL discs and everything. You remember all that shit. So once we got the internet, we actually I actually started looking up this, and yeah, that's I started looking up public access shows, and I think a big thing that inspired me to make videos was Mr. Ski Mask doing Thunderbird Theater. It was something that I've always watched. It made me realize that not all TV shows had to have a super big budget. It made me realize that a TV show could be done by the everyday person. So I think a lot of that really inspired me to make YouTube videos the way I do. And later in life, obviously, I purchased a camcorder, and I still have that camcorder. I purchased a camcorder from someone off Craigslist, I believe. And ever since then, I've been going hog wild doing YouTube videos. And I feel that with all the bullshit and everything that's in the world today, that I think this is a very good thing. With all the media and everything else, it's good to. I feel that it's a good thing, to watch, to make a video that where I speak the truth, even if you don't like what the content is, I still believe that the truth must be spoken. Okay, so I do a lot of videos where it looks like I'm trash talking. Okay, but in reality, I just speak what's on my mind, and if you don't agree with it, then you don't agree with it. Okay, that's the bottom line here. If you don't agree with something, then you don't agree with it. I can't make you agree to what I'm saying. But the way I see it, it's an alternative form of what you're used to seeing. It's not everything has to be polished. Not everybody has to look like supermodels. You know what I'm saying? All you need, and not everybody has to have a good speaking voice, or not everybody has to speak like they're like a Harvard graduate. I honestly consider myself smart, book smarts. Okay. Now, I know that I have a hard time speaking, okay? I know this. I know that I have a hard time communicating. And that's why when I do these videos that I tend to hem and haw a lot. I tend to go off topic. And I feel that with YouTube, I feel like it's an extension of these public access shows that I grew up with. Okay? YouTube is pretty much public access. Okay? It's public access where it's public access on a global level. Okay? Now, with Ski Mask Show, Thunderbird Theater, and you can look up these Thunderbird Theater shows as well. They're on YouTube. Just type in Thunderbird Theater on YouTube, and you'll come up with his shows. Those shows, I believe, and this isn't an insult to Ski Mask though, those shows, I believe, were a lot better than the Greg Sterling shows he was doing. I wish you could bring back Thunderbird Theater instead of doing Greg Sterling's. It was just a lot more energetic, I feel. And it wasn't just him talking. It was in between, like every so often they'll show like local bands. And this is another thing. It also showed me, because I was already into like metal and shit. I was like into like Metallica and whatnot. But it was at that point 10, 11 years old. I was into like Metallica and Megadeth and all that. But I wasn't really into death metal because I really didn't hear about it. Now, I think the first time I heard of death metal was when I was watching Thunderbird Theater, and he put on a live performance of a death metal band on that show. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. I think it was like Towpath or something he was playing. And at the time I was like, okay, this looks pretty cool. And it come to find out that this was all a local band too. So now I'm getting my introduction into, local TV. Now I'm getting my introduction to local music. And I thought that was cool as shit, okay? That he could put something like that on there, okay? So not only is it cool, and it also inspired me later in life to pick up a guitar, okay, to learn guitar. It inspired me to make rock operas, So I think that I owe a lot of my video and a lot of my music career to Mr. Ski Mask. Because I think he's the one, and he didn't even know he was doing it, but, at the time, he's corrupting the youth of Buffalo here, okay? He didn't even know it. I was watching a show when it was on. I would sit there and be like, okay, it's 10:30, I got put on channel 18, and I got to watch Ski Mask do a shit. So every every Saturday night I sit there and watch it. So I think I owe a lot of my music and my video career to Mr. Ski Mask. So to answer your question, there you go. I think that if Mr. Ski Mask never did Thunderbird Theater, I'm not sure if I'd ever be doing YouTube. Okay? I don't think I don't think I would ever know anything about death metal or a lot of the local bands. You know what I'm saying? I think Mr. Ski Mask inspired a lot of that. So, to answer your question, that's that, you know. And I know Mr. Ski Mask now, and it's very fortunate that he left Buffalo. He left Buffalo because he couldn't stand the way things were being run around this area. I think that's a little unfortunate, but whatever. So that's all I got to say about that. Thanks in advance for watching this. Ooh, I farted.